Steven from the Green Engineers, and in this video we're going to talk about a wiring checklist, or doing a wiring check on your multi-shooter when you receive it, and just to check to make sure that everything's okay and nothing was damaged in shipping, because shipping can sometimes be very, very rough on the components, and stuff could bounce around, and I could mess up packing stuff, and I know have already been some issues of stuff breaking, so I want to go through a checklist with you guys to see if there's anything broken or if anything has come unwired. And this is also a little video to be a quick video version of a wiring schematic. So this is what it looks like after you guys have gone through the assembly video. And then at this point we're going to go through and check and make sure that everything is wired up correctly and we're not going to have anything short out or spark or anything like that. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to start on the outside. So let me go ahead and rotate it around. So when you have your motor attached, it should look like this. The motor should be facing, and that you'll see in the assembly video. And then when these wires that come out the end here, so there's a little opening there. And then these wires, which are the wrapped red and black, go to the motor, the tabs on top of the motor that's attached to the coupler here. Now on top are the, in front towards the fan. On the fan side is the red. As you see the red, back this up a little bit. As you see the red is on the front and the black is on the back. So the black is towards the back side of the mount, and the red is towards the fan side, is facing upwards, and the black is in the back. So those two, that will give you the right rotation. So you should have, when you turn your extruder on, this coupler should turn counterclockwise, and that will push stuff in. Now, we're going to go ahead and jump to the back. So, of course, in the assembly video, we went over checking, all this stuff, make sure the screen's not broken, fan's not broken, blah, 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 this and that. So, another thing that we're going to check is, sorry about that, I said we're going to go to the back. So, let's go to the back first. Okay, so let's go ahead and flip it over to the back. Okay, so on the back here, let me go ahead and camera here. So, okay, on the back here, we have the power supply. And now let's go over, we have the 12 volt plus, 12 volt minus, ground, neutral, and line. So here on line, you should have this larger gauge wire. It's kind of like a burgundy oxblood color. And then you should have one of these black wires coming out of your power wire. Now this black wire is obviously the line, and as you see, it starts to slip out a little bit. So make sure that all these are attached, and I'll go over all of them. But the issue with this power wire that I selected for the multi-shooter is that the wires inside are very, very small compared to this burgundy wire. So they try to slip out very easily. So just make sure that these black wires are, and if this has come out, and this other black wire, which I'll go over in a second, has also come out, the issue is that I unfortunately didn't label which one's line and which one's neutral. So unless you have a multimeter, it's going to be very difficult for you to determine which one's line and which one's neutral. If that's the case and both of these have come out, the line and the neutrals come out, go ahead and message me, and if you don't have a multimeter and you can't just test it, and we'll check that out. But if you do have a multimeter, let me just go over how to do that. So if you look at your plug here, and if the plug goes in this way, this side is the line, this side is the neutral, and the bottom is the ground. So if one of these is popped out, just go ahead and put your multimeter on diode or resistance or whatever, or ohms, and then press one side to this wire and the other side to line. If it doesn't come up, then that means that it must be neutral. And if it does come up, that means it's line. And then you guys could go ahead and put them back in here. Now, I checked and made sure that these are as tight as I can when I ship them out, but they could have possibly shipped out if something pulls on this wire. Now the second one is neutral. So neutral is this second terminal, and it should have this white sleeved wire plugged in there, as well as the neutral line from the power plug. It should have those two plugged in. Now the white wire with the sleeve, that wire goes, that is the return of the heater band. So that goes into the neutral, or in this case, the return, or aka neutral. Then we have the next one, which is the ground. That should have a light blue wire. This guy is by itself. That's all that's in there. And the ground wire is the same for every cable. It's light blue. Now in the V minus, what we have is we have 3 wires that go in there, and this wire. So this wire right here is the wire that attaches to your fan shroud. So your filament cooling shroud, or your filament cooling fan that's attached to the shroud. So this guy on the fan shroud, there's a little male pin that goes up and into here. And now on this, the other two, this wire right here in the middle is the one that goes up to the front, the fan that's attached to your cover. So that's the black, the negative that's attached to your cover, and it's in this wound wire here. And then this final black one is the black wire, the negative of the 12 volts that goes inside and powers your electronics. Now for the red, for the 12 plus voltage, you have 3 wires. Again, you have the positive to your fan on your fan shroud, and now these two, the negative and the positive, are both very susceptible to pulling out. So be very, make sure that they're not floating around in your box, and if they are, just go ahead and plug them back in. Now, and also after you plug them back in, make sure they're super tight. So same thing here. This is the 12 volt plus for your fan shroud, and then you have your 12 plus for your front fan on your cover, and then you have your 12 plus for your electronics. Now those all should be plugged in as you see there. If not, if they're just sitting there, go ahead and plug them back in. If they've been ripped out and they're ripped out of your electronics, go ahead and contact me and we'll figure out how to resolve that. So that is it for the front and the back. Now let's go ahead and go through the complex wiring inside. Let me go ahead and put the camera back up. Okay, so let's go ahead and go over the complex wiring inside. So you just pick, this guy shouldn't be bolted down because it's easier to mess with stuff if you want to mod it, blah blah blah, this and that. Okay, so let's see if I could just get my camera repositioned here. See if I can get you guys to have a really close view without having to hold it and be super shaky. Okay. Alright, so that looks pretty good. So what you have here, let me go over the electronics first. Right here you have your analog amp, your analog thermal amp. You have your motor speed controller, your SSR relay, and then you have your touchscreen, the shield, the screw shield, and then your Arduino Mega in the bottom. Now, how this guy should be wired, let's start at the analog here. So what you have is you have, it should go ground out, so ground is black, green is out, which is the data. Then you have another ground, which is black, and then you have 5 volt power, which is red. So what those guys do, the 2 grounds, the 2 black wires attach to all the power of this entire unit. The 12 volt goes into this speed controller, and this speed controller has a little black IC back here. That's a voltage regulator that regulates the voltage from 12 volts down to 5 volts to be used on other electronics. So what you have is you have, let me see, do I have anything to point with? I'll just use, don't really have, oh, here we go. So, I have a little stick. So, these 2 black wires attach to this little terminal right here in the center. So it goes 12 volts in, so that's where our red wire comes in, 12 volts in, and then ground, and then 5 volt out, and then this is red for your motor, and then this is black for your motor. So let's go ahead and trace it. So 12 volt comes in through here, attaches here, and then the negative of the power supply comes in and attaches here. And then off of the negative we have a wiring harness. One negative wire goes here, and this should have a female port on it. And their negative wire goes here. One negative wire goes here, which is the center of the SSR relay, which is the center pin here. That's the negative. And then it also goes in, and then this is a male pin,
and it also goes to the Arduino, which is right here on the screw shield. So that's on the negative port, which is the second one, and it should say GND right there on the second port from the end. Now, from the 5-volt plus of the motor speed controller, we have one that goes over here. That's a female connector that attaches to the analog of the up amp for the heater. And then we have another one that goes to this first terminal on the SSR relay. And then we have another one that goes all the way underneath. So we have this one here. This one should just be taped up or free open. And this one is for, that one is for later attachments. We're going to have a harness that comes off this free one. So there should be one free that just sits there. Then we have this last negative wire that goes underneath the controller, and it'll actually come out over here. And then this one attaches to the 5-volt. It doesn't really matter. It could be in the V-in, which is this pin right here, or it could be in the directly to the 5-volt and bypass the relay. The 5-volt bypasses the regulator, but it doesn't really matter because it's already regulated with this guy with the 5-volt, and this guy's got a larger regulator, so it won't fry as quickly. So that's why I have it set to the VN or the 5-volt. Doesn't really matter. Both will work. So let's go ahead and look at the data cables, and where the data cables trace to, as those are all we just went over all the power wires. So here with the data wires, we have, let me see, I'll probably have to get in close and then use my little pointer. So from here, we have, sorry, let me zoom that back out. Give me a second. Zoom it back out. Okay, so here we have the green wire. The green wire comes all the way over here to A15. Which, let me see if I can get you guys a visual of that. So this is A15. And then right next to A15, there's another digital, there's another analog connector. So these are both analog connectors, A15 here at the very end. And then there's A14. A14 is basically to look at what the current voltage supplied to the whole circuit is. And that just comes out of this little jumper wire here and jumps right into A14. Then over here we have the purple. So here we have the whole bunch, and these are for the motor speed controller as well as the SSR relay. So right here on the back, let me see if I can get a better visual of that for you guys. So right here on the back, we have the orange. Let me see if I can get that zoom. Okay, right here on the back we have the orange, and that is pin 33. So what it is on this side is even, and on the outside's odd. So the inside it would be 32, and on the outside it would be 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, blah, 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 etc., etc. So this is going to be on pin 33. As you can see back here, let me see if I can get that to focus. Pin 33. 33 is the orange wire, which goes into this very last pin of the SSR relay, which is the very right pin. Then we have the brown, and the brown is the second pin right here, the second pin in the middle of the motor speed controller. And now the brown pin and the white pin are both for directional control, so that way you could flip the direction of the auger. And that is pin number 30. That should be pin number 34. So it goes 33 is orange, 34 is brown. Then we have 35 is this purple wire, and the purple wire is the PWM speed control for the motor speed control. So that's where the PWM digital signal comes through and controls the speed of the motor. And that's on pin number 1. That's on pin, the first pin on the SSR relay. The motor speed controller. Then you have the white wire. The white wire goes to pin number 36, and that is the second directional control wire. Now those guys are, that's how everything in here is connected as of right now. So if any of this stuff is kind of pulled off, Another thing, one last one, is this guy here, which is the analog. Now what it should be is, if you could you might barely be able to see, depending on if this could focus or not. But there on your heater, there is a red striped wire, and there is a yellow wire. So there's a yellow. So there's yellow with a red stripe, and there's a yellow with no stripe. So on the up amp here, the thermocouple amplifier, what you want is the yellow to be on the left side, onto the left terminal here, with this orientation, and the red one is going to be on the right side of this particular electronic. So yellow with no stripe on left side, red with red stripe with the yellow sleeve is on the right side. Now that will, if you put that in backwards, as you heat up the thermocouple, the temperature will go down instead of upwards. So that's how you know you need to reverse it. And then again, like I said, here we have the red wire coming off of the motor. So here's the red wire in the front, like we said, and that goes to this first terminal here. So that goes through this first terminal towards the top. You see if that will focus. So that goes on that first terminal, if you could see that. And then the black wire goes on the second terminal there. And that is pretty much it. Alright guys, so if you have anything funky going on, make sure to contact me. There has been some issues with shipping, stuff bouncing around, ripping stuff, and bending pins and whatnot. So let me know if if you have any issues with that. And go ahead, and if you haven't, check out the assembly video on how to actually put this thing together. That should be up by now. And let me know if you guys have any questions or issues or concerns. And if you want to build one of your own, this is kind of how you would build it from the bill of materials for all these electronics. Alright, so it's been Steven from the Green Engineers, and this is it for the electronic video, for the electrical video, and the electrical test video. If anything is pulled out of this board, or anything is disconnected, and you have the tools to reconnect it, go ahead and do so, as some of this stuff kind of pulls out, just being connected to other things it could pull out. So if you just have a few wires that come connected or whatnot, just go ahead and reconnect them. And if you have anything that's not where it should be, or is not plugged in, or pins have broken, go ahead and let me know. Alright guys, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.